Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host, Saeed. I do want to thank you for joining us tonight, Monday the 2nd of August, 2021. So viewers, you know, it's one thing I do every time we come live on our show, on Synergy Television. I always encourage you to share our live stream. If you are on Facebook, you can type up the word Real Talk with Saieed Ali on your Facebook account. When our page pops up, feel free to like it and share it. So as soon as you like our page, viewers, I encourage you to share it. Why do I do this every night? It's to encourage Trinidad and Tobago into sharing our page so you will be updated on the news and events that occur during the course of the day. I also encourage you that if you are on YouTube, or you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel as yet, you can do so by typing in TT Real Talk. Look for the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button, and you would know when we go live, viewers. So this is something I always encourage you to share our social media platform. We keep you up to date with events during the course of the day. And I know when you hear you're on the go, sometimes you don't have time to tune into a radio station, you don't have time to look at your TV, but one thing you always have on you is your phone. So when we share something on our page and you get your notification, that is events, news, videos, everything that happened during the course of the day. So it's to keep you up to date on our social media platform. So viewers, remember, if you're having spiritual problems, you can feel free to contact me. If you have a property to sell or property to buy, you can also contact me. And if your friend and your family borrowed your hard-earned cash and they fail to give you back, you can contact Real Talk Debt Collection. They run under Real Talk Security and Intelligence Unit. So they will be glad to assist you in any way possible, viewers. So remember, you can contact us at 339-1670 or 238-6716. And we also have Real Talk Investment. For those of you who have been following my show, you know I have just 2 approvals again to get for Real Talk Credit Union to be birthed right here in Trinidad and Tobago. And while that is in the making, Real Talk Group of Company is a registered company in Trinidad and Tobago. Real Talk Investment. Now viewers, Real Talk Group of Company presently have Real Talk Investment that is going on. We are paying currently 3 to 3.5%. It is the highest percentage rate on any return of investment in Trinidad and Tobago presently. So what am I going to tell you now? Are you looking for the correct investment? Well, contact Real Talk Group of Companies at 339-1670 or 238-6716. They have the perfect investment for you. The perfect investment for you. Right here in Trinidad and Tobago, we are paying currently the highest percentage on return of investment. So viewers, contact their office 339-1670 or 238-6716 to find out more about it. So as we start our program tonight, viewers, feel free to call in. Feel free to call in tonight. Tonight we're dealing with emancipation. Emancipation tonight. What does emancipation mean to you as a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago? So spread the word, call your friends, call your family, tell them Real Talk with Saieed Ali is going live presently and we are discussing emancipation. What does emancipation mean to you as a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago? Call a good night. I guess we lost that there. What does emancipation mean to you? Are we out of slavery? Are we out of bondage? Are we out of the colonial days? What does it mean to you? So while you are sending your messages, and you're telling your friends and your family to tune in, I'm going to give you a little update of news that occurred in Trinidad and Tobago Monday the 22nd of August 2021. TNT gets closer to 200,000 fully vaccinated individuals. Caller, good night.
Good night, Mr. Ali.
Good night, my friend.
You're not taking any call about the speech from Saturday?
I'm not hearing you.
You're taking any call from the speech from Saturday?
You're getting that feedback. I'm not hearing you clearly. I am getting that feedback here in studio. So close to 200,000 fully vaccinated. Currently, some 195,070 persons in TNT are fully vaccinated, having received 2 doses of COVID-19 vaccine, either Sinopharm or AstraZeneca, which brings us closer to the 200,000 mark. 200,000 mark. Caller, good night.
Good night, Mr. Ali.
Go right ahead.
I'd like to know if you're taking any call from Saturday with the speech from Mr. Rowley.
It's not a politics tonight, my friend. I do apologize for it.
Okay.
Thank you so much. But you can tune in tomorrow night as well. Tonight, I want the people to call in and share their views on emancipation. Tonight is a night for that. You know, I wasn't having any show tonight, seeing as it was a holiday. But then I decided, you know what? It's emancipation. It's a holiday in Trinidad and Tobago. So I decided to keep a show to hear what the citizens of Trinidad thinks on emancipation and what does it mean to us as an individual. So feel free to call in. 200,000 is the mile mark thus far, almost, for patients being vaccinated in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, with the vaccination, close to 200,000 citizens of Trinidad and Tobago being vaccinated, we have been hearing all sorts of after effects with the vaccine. All sorts of after effects. But nevertheless, Commissioner of Police, more roadblocks, more patrols before curfew. Commissioner of Police Gary Griffith have stated that the TTPS will intensify patrols, roadblocks, beginning tonight, Monday, 2nd of August. This, as he has noticed an increase in vehicular traffic 2 hours prior to the start of the daily 9 p.m. curfew. The cop says criminals also use this period to increase their activities. This too will be pegged, backed, he added. So viewers, yes, everybody is rushing home. While everybody is rushing home, the bandit is also rushing to commit crimes. And the commissioner said he is planning, or he's going to start more roadblocks in Trinidad and Tobago tonight. This is just an update of what is taking place in Trinidad and Tobago. Police have seized narcotics with a street value of over $64 million and have arrested 3 persons in Queenam. This after officers intercepted a Nissan Perry motor vehicle with 3 occupants at the Queenam Beach facility on Sunday. A search of the vehicle resulted in officers finding 5 crocus bags containing 109 kilograms of marijuana and 34 packets of cocaine, which weighed 39 kilograms. The 3 suspects were arrested and taken into custody. Now, I want to thank Corporal Carter and his team from the Siparia CID. Straight up, is it? Let me tell you something. Over $64 million in drugs. Over $64 million. That is a lot of money. So to Corporal Carter and his team down in CID, in Sipara, congratulations to you and your team, my friend. Job well done. Job well done. So viewers, isn't that marvelous? Over 64 million? That's a plus. That is a plus for TGPS. So get ready to call in, my friend. The facts or process of being set free from legal, social, or political restrictions or liberations. The freeing of someone from slavery. Emancipation meaning. Feel free. Could you say tonight that you are free from legal or social or political restrictions? Can you say that tonight, Trinidad and Tobago? Or any country that is viewing us presently? Can you say that? Are you free? Do you have the freedom as an individual in your country? What is emancipation? What does emancipation mean to you? Are we politically free? Are we legally free? Are we binded to anything? Or are we free as individuals? Free to make our choice? Free to freedom of speech? Do we have that? Do we have that? Do you have that as an individual? Or are you being muzzled? Legally? Socially? Politically? I want to ask you that tonight. Do you have that freedom to express what freedom really means to you as a citizen? How many of you could actually call in and say, yes, you're free? Said we're free from politics. We're free from legal bondage. Socially, we're free. Can you say that tonight? Or are you or are you under a political restraint? How many of you could say that? I want to hear the callers tonight. I want to hear you tonight. What does emancipation mean to you? Could anybody call in and tell me what does that mean to you? What is emancipation? Emancipation is an effort to obtain economic and social rights, political rights, equality rights. Can you say you are all those things tonight? I want to hear from you tonight. Feel free to call in. Feel free to call in tonight. I want to hear what you have to say. All my educated callers, feel free to call in and educate the public tonight. What is emancipation? Do we have the freedom as a people, or are we back in the day being bonded? Are we under social distress? Are we under political distress? Are we under legal distress? Are we disenfranchised as a people? Where's all these colors? Hello, calling tonight. I want to hear something from all of tonight. What does emancipation mean to you as a citizen? Caller, good night.
Saeed, good night. How are things tonight?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, I don't think we reached that stage of emancipation yet, because the politician has just changed in from being slave masters with their own ideologies and still putting pressure on the black man on the road. For instance, right now, there are a lot of employers who are forcing their employees to take vaccination for working purposes. And it's against the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago. And what does the division committee saying about that? What does the Minister of Legal Affairs saying about that? They're not assisting anybody, so we're still under a kind of rule that you can't even think whatever is really doing. We are not emancipated. We have problems. We have problems all over. Some people feel that the white man should still be here to run this country.
I've been hearing that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, my friend. So can you say we are free? I want to hear what you have to say. Tonight is an educational night for Trinidad and Tobago, and I want to hear your views on emancipation. This is what I want to hear from you. Your views on emancipation. All those scholars and teachers and viewers of Real Talk, feel free to call in tonight. Tonight is a night to educate the citizens, local and regional. Because there are many people looking on that doesn't know what is emancipation. You see, I will tell you something. You see this platform here, when I come here every night, I could consider myself emancipated. Free. Free. Because I practice my freedom of speech. I practice as an individual standing up for the right thing. I practice the media freedom. I'm free to bring the news to you without having to fear of any backbiting or backstabbing or somebody coming after me. Legally, I'm free. Socially, I'm free. Politically, I am free. That is what I bring to you tonight. Caller, good night.
Hello, good night.
Go right ahead.
Yeah. I had a problem with the emancipation problem, right? But when it was Father's Day, Mother's Day, Indian Arrival Day, we had a curfew, but we don't have no curfew for emancipation.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend.
I mean, I don't know. It's not a race or a political thing, but I mean, we want to know what's going on.
I understand. Thank you.
Mother's Day, Father's Day, and Indian Arrival Day, we have a curfew.
Yes, yes.
From, whole day. From 10 to in the next day.
I understand, I understand.
Yeah, so we want to know what really going on with the, and this man walking the street with National Security Minister.
Thank you, my friend. We staying off the politics a little bit for tonight, but nevertheless. This year, Emancipation Day marked 183 years of emancipation of Africans in the British colonies of slavery. Emancipation Day has been celebrated in Trinidad and Tobago since 1985, when it became the first country in the world to declare a national holiday to pay tribute to the abolition of slavery. Caller, good night.
Good night.
Go right ahead.
As you said, caller just said I had a problem with that too. Because we had so much holidays and nobody didn't have freedom. But for emancipation, he had curfew for the rest of the holidays, but he didn't have any for this one. Because he wanted to take part in it too.
I understand what you're saying. Thank you, my friend. So Trinidad and Tobago celebrated emancipation since 1985. This holiday marked the end of slavery in the British Empire, which is celebrated in Trinidad and Tobago on August 1st every year. Emancipation Day replaced Columbus Discovery Day, which marked the arrival of Christopher Columbus on Trinidad on July 31st, 1498. This is usually celebrated with street processions, including towering mukojumbis, religious and spiritual observations, exhibitions of African art, and countless events nationwide. Caller, good night.
Good night, good night.
Go right ahead, my friend.
I just looking at the Emancipation Parade. I like the colors and things, but I noticed nobody wasn't wearing no mask, no COVID protocol.
No, well, that is a video not from this year, but that is a video from prior, probably about a year, 2 years back.
Oh, okay.
It is not a present video.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, my friend. So for those of you who are wondering if there were Emancipation celebration in Trinidad and Tobago, the answer is no. That is just a visual so you would understand what took place in the streets on Emancipation Day. You see, they had a lot of processions, mukojumbis, religious and spiritual observation, they had exhibitions, they had art, they had culture. Try back on TV so they would understand. You see, emancipation is freedom, and we celebrated it right here in Trinidad. So there are different type of dance. There are also mukojumbis. There are drums. You know, different type of things that happen on Emancipation Day, and all these are exhibitions. You understand? This is being observed in Trinidad. Caller, good night.
Good night.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, this is Saieed Ali.
You're live on Real Talk.
Right. Yeah, I just want to say something about Rowley.
No politics tonight, no politics. There are the times that when we would talk about politics and we would hit the opposition, the present government very hard. But tonight is about emancipation. When did we become free? As a nation, when did we become free? In 1985. Caller, good night.
Good night.
Go right ahead. We do apologize for that. When did we become free? In 1985. How many of you didn't know that? When is emancipation celebrated? On August the 1st. On August the 1st. What holiday did it replace? Discovery Day, when Christopher Columbus discovered Trinidad and Tobago on July 31st, 1498. So we are not celebrating the discovery of Trinidad and Tobago anymore. We are celebrating we are free, freedom, Emancipation Day. Caller, good night.
Mr. Ali, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Go right ahead, my friend.
You know, we emancipate already from this Rowley. We emancipate already from Rowley. You know what? I'll tell you why. Because we cannot have we own the life. This man take away all of our life, with business, everything. He take it away from us.
Thank you, my friend. So one more time, viewers. One more time. If we could stay out of the political arena, you know, it's simple. We want to hear about what activities took place on Emancipation Day. Call us and tell us if you were a member of any group that celebrated Emancipation Day in Trinidad. You know, we want to stay away from the politicians tonight. And English is such an easy thing. Stay away from drinking river water. It is a simple thing. We're staying away from politics. So feel free to call in and educate the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, whether they're local or whether they're foreign. Tell us about emancipation. Have you ever celebrated emancipation? Were you in a band? What is the artist? Who were you with on Emancipation Day celebrating? A holiday like today, a freedom like, now. This is what we want to know. It's not politics every day. We have place and time for that. So the history of emancipation now, viewers. The British, like any other colonial power, had allowed the widespread practice of slavery to take place during the time of expression to the new world. To the new world. So in the colonial days, the colonial power, they had the power to capture and to order and to abuse human beings. And they practice it for the new world so that they would understand that, hey, we have the power to command, we have the power to abuse, we have the power to demand. That was the colonial days. That was the colonial days. Now, on the 25th of March, 1807, the British Parliament in London passed a law formally abolishing the slavery trade in the British Empire. So, well done. I must say kudos to the British Empire, the British Parliament in London for passing this law now to abolish slavery. So when you hear the colonial days now, and you hear they demanding you, they're whipping you, they're starving you, they're tying you. And now the British Parliament passed that law to abolish the slavery, to abolish the abuse, to abolish the abuse of power from one human to the next. Just imagine, that's a big thing, you know. That's a big thing, you know. And this took place in 1807 in the British Parliament. So we must give kudos to the British Parliament on the 25th of March, 1807. Otherwise, slavery would have been rampant in this present world today. How many of you are thankful to God that you are not a slave, I should say? How many of you can say that? How many of you can say you're free? Because let me tell you something, I practice it every night right here. Freedom of speech, freedom of the media, freedom to express yourself, freedom to walk freely. I am not socially, I am not economically, I am not politically binded to anything. I am free. And I practice that every night right here on my show. So are you free? Are you politically free? Now the United States followed suit by banning the importation of slaves from January 1st, 1808. So in the British Parliament, they passed the law formally abolishing slavery days on the 25th of March, 1807. And in the United States, they followed 1 year after, on January 1st, they banned the importation of slaves to their country. 1 year after. It's a little history of emancipation I've given you. It's not just about politics every day, every day, every day. So we're spinning the ball a little bit tonight. You know they say spin your crystal ball? Well, I'm spinning the crystal ball tonight. We're educating you tonight. That is what we're doing. Now, so we understand in the British Parliament, they formally abolished slavery day. 1 year after, on January 1st, 1808, the United States followed by banning importation of slaves. Now, caller, good night.
Yeah, good night, Saeed.
Go right ahead, my friend.
Saeed, you know, long time days, right, in this world, if 51 million people take to do slave in this world, right? I want to do slave and they build all the country we're supposed to build. They get nothing outside right now.
I understand.
So they have right to demolish the slave them because they get nothing. And they just get out and just get nothing outside.
Thank you, my friend. I love your input. I love your input. So now, viewers, slavery was finally abolished throughout the British Empire by by the Slavery Abolition Act 1833, which came into effect on the 1st of August 1834. So you see, everything follows. Caller, good night. Hello? Next call. Woo. Slavery Abolition Act 1833 came into effect on August 1st, 1834. In 1838, slavery was abolished in the Caribbean. So after it firstly introduced in the British Parliament, 1807, 1808, the United States bans importation of slavery. 1833, the abolition of the Slavery Act, which came into effect on August 1st, 1834. So I'm giving you a little rundown. In 1838, slavery was abolished in the Caribbean. So we're free in the Caribbean since 1838. And presently we are in the 21st century, the 20th century, 2021. Caller, good night.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Well, I must reach on the day today, they say slavery was abolished.
Yes.
But if I tell you something, it's still a slavery, you know.
Probably in different methods, yes.
Because look at the state of the world.
I understand, yes.
Look at the state of we here, Trinidad and Tobago. Understand? So to get a little money now, if you're not working, you understand, you have to go back to slavery.
I understand what you're saying. In different methods, I would say, not slavery, but...
Mr. Ali, I want you to hear what I'm saying.
Go right ahead.
Now, the unemployed, which were employed, you understand, and without vaccine, you can't be employed again.
True.
You understand? Whatever they offer you as the employer, you have to settle for that because you have bills to pay, children to see about, look, school going to open, whatever.
Yes.
You understand? You have to move, and everything is money.
I understand what you're saying.
Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. So, yes, I understand what the caller is saying. They abolish it, yes. But in different methods, in different jobs, you would say that you're bound. It's like, you know, like I'm going back to slaving again. You know, people use this term often. I'm going back to slaving. So, in 1984, on the 150th anniversary of Emancipation Day, the Trinidad and Tobago government declared that on the 1st of August would be made a public holiday from the following year. So that would be in 1985. In 1985, they started to follow the holiday of Emancipation Day. Before Emancipation Day was officially declared in 1834, there were two groups who had already gained their freedom living in Trinidad and Tobago. Can anybody tell me what group is that? The first was the Americans. They were former slaves from the American South who had fought with the British Army in 1812 against former colonies. They were the first. Americans. Now, for their service, they were rewarded with their freedom and land in the Princestown and Moruga area. So I sure know Trinidad and Tobago, I didn't know that. I surely didn't know that. But I can smile when I hear about that. How many of you knew that? Two groups living in Trinidad here. Two groups living in Trinidad here. Before emancipation was officially declared in 1834, two groups who had already gained their freedom living in Trinidad and Tobago. The first was Americans. They were a former slave of the South American who had fought in the British Army in the 1812 against former colonies. So, who did they defend? Who did they defend? Did they defend Trinidad? Did they defend Tobago? And for fighting in the war in 1812, they were rewarded with lands in the Princestown district and in the Moruga area. The other groups were Muslim soldiers born in Africa that had served in the British Army between 1793 and 1815. So you see, viewers, the Muslim soldiers and them didn't just arise out of nowhere. We had a history of fighting in the war, defending the right thing, defending the land, defending the country, defending the male, defending the female, defending the children, defending those that want to come and attack us. So we fought side by side with our brothers in the war. Somebody may be saying, Saeed getting mad here. This is history. Go back to it and you would see. Go back to it and you would see. Now, they too were granted their freedom and land in Komoto, Valencia, and in Manzalina. So those who were around in those days, and those who knew of their grandfather and their grandmother, they would have the history of that. So yes, the Muslims in Africa had served in the British Army, defending Africa. And I will tell you something. Right here in Trinidad, the Muslims born in Africa, together with their African brothers and sisters, stood up to defend their country. Listen to this, They stood up to defend their country. In 1812, listen carefully here. In 1812, the Muslims and the African country, Muslims were born in Africa, the African brothers and sisters, together with the Muslims, they stood up and defended their country. They defended from intruders coming in and ruling their land, and ruling their children, and ruling the women, and ruling the economy, and ruling the females. They stood up back in 1812. This is 2021 in Trinidad. And what we doing? Are we fighting against outsiders who wants to come in and rule our land? Are we doing that? No, we are not doing that. We are fighting among our own brothers and sisters right here in our land, which we call Trinidad. Could we unite and stand up against outsiders coming in to take our land, and coming in to rule our country, and coming in to govern us? Could we stand as one people and say no to that colony? Can we do that? We cannot do that. You know why? Because we are too busy fighting amongst ourselves right here in Trinidad. And why am I saying that? Let me tell you something. You see, for 2 feet of land, you want to kill your neighbor. 2 feet of land to put on a post. To put on a post. To fence both properties for security. Let me tell you something. Those who want to be educated, kudos to you all. But those who want to do the bickering and the fighting, you will always be bickering and you will always be fighting. And that is something wouldn't change. You know why? Because we as a people, we don't want to change. We don't want to change. We want to continue killing our neighbor for 2 feet of land. 2 feet of land. Just imagine the neighbor spending money to put up a fence wall to protect your property too. And you want to kill him for that 2 feet of land. You want to kill him for that 2 feet of land. Just imagine that. Hey, that education for all you tonight. Serious. That is some education for all you tonight. So viewers, I just want you all to understand something. I want you all to understand something. And I will repeat this. For the younger ones that are looking on. Even the young adult. And even the older adult who did not know about it. 25th of March, 1807, the British Parliament, they brought a law to abolish slavery. 1 year later, January 1st, 1808, the United States banned importation of slave. British Empire. Slavery Abolished Act 1833, which came into effect on August 1st, 1834. In 1838, slavery was abolished in the Caribbean. Caller, good night. Hello? In 1984, on the 150th anniversary of Emancipation, Trinidad and Tobago declared that August 1st will be made a public holiday the following year. So that would be now, if they declared it in 1984, in 1985 would have been the first holiday of emancipation in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, before the emancipation declared in Trinidad and Tobago in 85, in 1834, there were two groups who declared, who already had freedom right here in Trinidad and Tobago. Caller, good night.
Hi, good night.
Go right ahead.
Mr. Ali, on the topic of emancipation,
yes,
my view is this, and you can tell me whether or not you agree. We are way too corrupted. We are way too corrupt as a people to have true emancipation, except for a few maybe at the top, and maybe probably like yourself. But by and large, all the different arms of this country, legislative, judiciary, armed forces, there's an underlying fear if you step too much out of your bounds, and people know this, and people who find themselves in a situation where, you know, they may be muzzled, they know that, whether you're a journalist or whatever. So you would let me know if you agree with that.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you, my dear. So viewers, that is why I ask you tonight, do you think you can call in and actually tell us, what does emancipation means to you? Caller, good night.
Hello, good night, Mr. Ali.
Go right ahead, my friend.
You are talking about abolition of slavery and Emancipation Day. But you didn't talk about something.
What's that?
In South Africa, all the slavery was abolished and whatnot. There was slavery going on before Mandela came to power.
Caller, I'm not hearing you clearly. There's some sort of distortion.
Okay,
Thank you, my friend. There was some sort of distortion. My audio guy didn't hear you clearly, and there were a little buzzing on my set here. So, viewers, if we are free as a people, why do we fight with neighbor for when here they want to fence our property? To protect your property and mine also. Why? 2 feet of land, chopping, killing, shooting, ambushing the neighbor for 2 feet of land just to put on a post. Just to put on a post to secure the neighbor property and also the neighbor pulling a fence to secure yours also. And we vex for that. We vex for that. I will tell you something, when you die, I just tell people, when you hear people come and tell me, Saeed, neighbor fighting for land. I say, here what's going on, eh? You see when they die? When they die, dig out 2 feet of dirt and put it in the box with them. And tell them carry it when they're going. I just tell people that. I just tell them that. Caller, good night.
Yes, as I call back again. What I am trying to say, after the abolition of slavery, there was slavery still going on in South Africa, you know,
Yes.
where Mandela was in prison and whatnot. The blacks were being oppressed by the whites. The Indians were being oppressed by the whites. So slavery is complete abolished throughout the world.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, my friend. I heard you clearly now. And thank you so much for your input. Thank you so much. So you see, viewers, we have to understand. We have to understand the meaning of our freedom. And if we do not understand the meaning of our freedom, mentally we are still enslaved. We are enslaved still mentally. And if our mental thinking don't change, our mental capacity in our brain supposed to function different, knowing that you have the freedom to express yourself, knowing that you have the freedom to speak. Just recently, I had to raise a topic on our show that where the government wanted to muzzle media. Why are you muzzling media? When certain groups could have come and interview ministers, why not the entire media fraternity? Whether you be a private show or whether it be a printed press or a journalist. You see, freedom of speech. People just want to muzzle freedom of speech. Why? Because when questions are asked, they don't have answers. So what would you do now? You would want to muzzle the freedom of speech. So you won't have to answer questions. Caller, good night.
Hi, good night.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, I have a problem here with my son right now. He's fighting me down for just a piece of land home right next door. I told him, when we die, we're not carrying anything with us, so it will make sense to fight me down for any land. So that is my contribution tonight.
Thank you so much. So that is why I ask you, can you speak freely without being muzzled? I can. And I do it every day. I know I am free to talk. I am free to ask questions. I am free to choose politically. I am free to choose socially. I am free to make my own decisions. Over the age of 18. Let me just correct that. Over the age of 18. How many of you can say that? Now, are we politically enslaved? That is our next thing. Are we politically enslaved? Caller, good night.
Good night.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Sai, good night.
Good night.
I would like to find out one thing. I want to know who is the owner of the Balize house in Port Spain?
Who is the owner of the
Balize house in Port Spain.
The Balize house in Port of Spain?
Yeah, who is the owner of it?
Well, to answer that, I believe recently there, the PNM administration, well, they have the symbol of the Balize. They were raising funds recently to build the Balize house. So I guess, seeing that the PNM have the Balize symbol, I guess that government is solely responsible for the Balize house because they were raising funds for it. Politically free, are we? Social, political. Are we still under a mental slavery? This is what I have for you. Are we under a mental slavery status presently? This is what I'm asking you now. We have about 5 minutes left on our show tonight. This is what I am asking you. Trinidadians and Tobagonians, I want you to understand one thing. You have a right to choose. And whatever you choose is your rights. Nobody cannot take it away from you. Always remember that. Nobody cannot take it away from you. Freedom to express yourself. Freedom to choose. Freedom to speak. Freedom to socialize. Freedom to pick whatever political party you want. Freedom to choose whatever pharmacy or grocery or hospital you want to visit. That is your choice. But mentally, are you free as a people? Have you ever asked yourself that? Are you mentally free? Or are you politically enslaved still? This is something I ask. I ask people. Are you politically free? Ask yourself that. Caller, good night.
Good night.
Go right ahead.
Yes, Saeed. Have we, any of us, Indian or Negro people, have we ever emancipated?
Cut him. Now, I'm going to tell you something. If you all have noticed that, have you ever heard me use the N-word at any point in time on my show? No, I have never used it at no point in time. And I would not allow any caller to call in and use the N-word and continue our discussion with me. I do apologize for it. I do apologize for it one time because I am not that type of individual. to go down that road with those sorts of name calling. Sorry, that is not me. That is not me. Because I will tell you something. I will tell you see that trip me right there. That trip me right there. Good thing I had the last 5 minutes in my show. I will tell you something. My staff, in my staff, they are Douglas, they are Africans, and they are Indians. And I treat every single one of them equally. Ask any one of my staff behind my back. Any one of my staff behind my back. If Saieed is pick and choose who to treat good or who to treat bad. And let me tell you something. You know what I just tell them? I just tell them point blank. I say, anytime you lie on me, I fire you one time. I fire you one time. Because if 9 people will stand up against one person and say you lie, believe me, you're packing your bag and you're going home immediately. Not for telling the truth, you know. I ain't firing you for telling the truth, you know. I'm firing you for lying one time. So you see, from the time you hear you start a conversation with me over the air, and you want to use a word that I don't use, you know, long time I used to have a term, I save you 50 cents. You could have saved your 50 cents there. You could have saved it. See, racism, no come wrong me with that. At all, at all, at all. Whether you like me or not, I'm standing for the right thing. So viewers, I want to encourage you tonight. Real Talk Group of Company is offering to the public, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, from 3 to 3.5% on Real Talk fixed investment. Presently, we are paying the highest percentage rate in Trinidad and Tobago on your fixed investment in Real Talk Group of Companies. So viewers, contact us at 339-1670 or 238-6716 for more information concerning your investment. So if you want the right investment to reap the proper benefit, contact us. So viewers, you see, Real Talk Group of Companies is a registered company. I recently got my money lending license, which I showed to you all. Everything is legit. And it's a financial institute in Trinidad and Tobago have been not paying a proper return. So if you want the right investment, contact us. We are out of time for tonight, viewers, but nevertheless, do enjoy the rest of your night with your family on Emancipation. You know, the holiday was Sunday, today is Monday. Nevertheless, viewers, Real Talk with Saieed Ali will be live on Synergy Network from Monday to Friday from 7 to 8 p.m. Our office at 238-6716, 339-1670. We are located at number 14 Carolina Savannah Road in Shogunas. It's just about 3 minutes away from the Shogunas police station. So until we meet again, good night.